So, Louise O'Neill there. Niamh, Louise O'Neill, you're probably about the same age as her, and you're also, I won't use the word childless, you don't have any children.
Yeah.
Is there terrible pressure?
There is, yeah. I'm 32 now. It started a couple of months before I turned 30, and it doesn't show any sign of letting up.
What kind of things?
Well, it can be ranged from good crack. I mean, the lads down the pub would say, you know, oh, you're getting on there a bit, where I can have a laugh at. But I think women in particular, and strangers would say it, and it's quite a personal thing to say, and women will have a great ability to kind of give you a little slap on the wrist or put you down by, oh, you know, you're happy now, you're young, free and single, but you'll regret it in a couple of years' time. And that I find a little bit more kind of unsettling or hard to hear. The one phrase that annoys me all the time is, you know, you only have a certain window of opportunity that you're missing. And the message that sends out is that, you know, my value as a woman is tied up with my ability to attract men, my ability to have children and my youth, and it ain't any of those.
And do you think people think, as Louise O'Neill said, they're selfish?
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. A lot of people see it like that, but you know, to be really honest, there's a lot of today's parenting and what's happening now is that I find quite selfish.
What do you mean?
I think that, you know, you see mums dropping their kids off to a creche at 7 in the morning when it's dark and picking them up at 7 at night when it's dark, and they say, well, I'm a woman, I want it all and I can have it all, and there's who's suffering? It's the child that's suffering at the end of the day. And I mean, who's paying the sacrifice for that? It's the child. And I think that, you know, women have been sold a bit of a pup as well when it comes to, you know, as in that they can have it all. So they're being pulled between looking after young kids and the workplace as well. And can they really give either their all 100%? You know, I would question that, you know. I just think that
there's a lot of people are going to disagree with you on that. Starting, I'd imagine, with working mother Alison O'Connor. Alison, do you agree? Can you not give 100% in the workplace, particularly more so if you're a woman and you have kids?
I'd like to roll back a bit to the creche scenario, and I'm just wondering where Niamh sees the father in that, you know, in that scenario.
The reality is, though, that it probably is the mother, isn't it?
No, actually, not certainly for that sort of thing. I think that in my experience, look, I share a school run with my husband, and even on a school run, I see it's a mix of men and women.
But you're right in saying
no, I don't. I think that the burden of childminding generally does, or if the child gets sick, it's frequently the mother that has to take the time off. But I don't come at it from the side then of criticising women. I think that's what's the point in that? I believe that if society acknowledges the value of women being able to have children, what would happen if women all decided to cross their legs and not reproduce and have no more children? Well, you know, where would we be then? So that I think that if society recognises that value and also recognises the value of having women in the workforce, it would make it easier for women. We would all work together and it would be far more supportive.
Well, what would happen if women start making more choices and saying, well, maybe I'll have less kids that I'll be more able to manage, or that I'll have more money to be able to finance? Or what if, you know, I took a couple of years off? But I find as well it's quite difficult. Women, and there's some women that ride the system as well. I mean, come on, we all know women that, you know, might have children back to back, 1, 2, 3, because they want them all at the same time. They're being paid maternity leave all this time. They come back to work for maybe.
Have you tried to exist on the maternity leave that
so they come back to work after? Well, they're more than willing to take it. They come back to work after a year, and then they decide to take a career break, and then they wonder why other women who work, who are kind of, you know, they're at a bit of a disadvantage in terms of men.
Are you saying that this disadvantages you as a woman who doesn't have children? Are you saying these women are kind of affecting the prospects for all of you?
Well, I'm sure there's some women out there who've gone for job interviews along the way for a promotion, and let's be realistic about it. If you've got a man and a woman, both the same ability, both the same talents, going for the same job opportunity, they're both in their early 30s and married, who are the panel going to pick? I'd say they're going to edge with the men. And I wouldn't.
I feel you're only half a step away from forced sterilisations. I mean,
well, hang on,
would you be?
Look at this extreme.
No, but I mean, I'm responding to the extremes.
reason that they'll
I
take the
don't
men
think
is
you're
because...
saying that this is necessarily right. You're
I'm
saying
not
that's the
saying
reality.
it, but I'm saying it's the reality.
Is it the
and
reality,
can I
do you
just
think,
finish
Alice?
one small point there? It's because they're businesses, and I think a lot of employers at home listening to this might agree. It's because they're businesses. They're not charities, and they're not there to kind of, you know, to subsidise when women want to have a couple of kids
I think it's more than a commentary. I mean, Niamh has used language where she's talked about women riding the system. The child benefit or the maternity benefit and things like that. Like the women provide a massive value to society by reproducing and building our population, for starters. So they have the added burden of having to do that and then attempting to get back into the workforce. My argument is that if society assisted women a bit more, if there was more flexibility shown by employers, I know lots of women, for instance, who have 1 day off a week. They do they do a 4-day week. I can tell you, each and every one of them does at least a 6-day week in 4, and that their employers get massive amount of work out of them, because most of them feel so guilty about having that 1 day off that they absolutely give it their all.
Do you not think that men should also get more flexibility in their work to allow them?
I sometimes
agree
think,
with you I'm
more.
not saying women aren't victims of this system, but I think men are huge victims of this system. Like so many men I know, they hardly ever get to see their children. Their wives might work in more enlightened ways, or at home with the children, and they say, "Oh, try it and see if you like it." But you know, they're men.
No, but that's why it's a conversation worth having. And I'd say there's probably lots of men out there who would rather be at home, and lots of women who would rather be in work full time. Yeah. And if that's what works for you, absolutely go for it. But I hate the sort of the negative spin that's put in it, and the notion. I respect if there's a woman who wants to be at home full time with her children. I respect that. I myself actually work part time. And that's the decision that we made within our family, and it works for us. That, you know, taking pot shots at each other and criticising other people's choices and saying people are riding.
Let's let Niamh have one quick final word there.
It's not pot shots. I'm simply questioning, and I feel like we're not able to question things anymore. I find it quite cruel, the amount of hours that some kids are spending in creches from morning until night and making sacrifices because their parents want to have it all, and it's both parents. And we should be allowed to question that. We shouldn't. I know women have had it hard for many years, but we shouldn't have to take it.
We're running out of time. Very briefly.
I just want to say I don't have much of an opinion because I haven't given it much thought, but all I can say is that the girls that I grew up with obviously had it right, which was have the kids in school, and then by the time you're in university, the eldest can look after the rest of them.
All right.